republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Adoption of agenda. Pardon? Oh, Mike.
I did. It's on.
Okay.
Sure is on.
Okay, first order of business is our budget amendments. These are budget amendments are based upon the fiscal year 24-25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, okay? Each of the board members should have a copy of those amendments. Any questions, comments, and concerns? No? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve budget amendments as presented with increasing coming from contingencies. Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support. To approve the budget amendments as presented. Are we doing a roll call on that, Jane?
No.
Not necessary for roll call. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Is there a way that we can see the amendments?
I'm sorry, sir?
I have no idea what we're approving. Do we have any say in that?
These are budget amendments based off of last fiscal year, okay, which ends June 30th of this year, okay?
So we're saying.
So we have some budget amendments from the governing body, the supervisor's position, clerk's position, treasurer, assessor equalization department, the police, sheriff contract, building department, planning and zoning, and the cemetery. So a budget amendment, we had an original budget for each one of those line items. We had to adjust those budgets accordingly to increase the budget to handle the expenditure that went out. I've got a copy of here.
Yeah, I've got a copy too.
Here, look at it. You're more than welcome.
That would be great.
One or two of them.
Anybody want one of these?
Thank you.
You guys got any?
Motion was approved. All right, next order of business is our consent agenda, which consists of regular meeting minutes and special budget workshop minutes dated May 12, 25, special board meeting minutes dated May 19, 25, monthly bills in the amount of $124,125.63, and our treasurer's report. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Reference our consent agenda. If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the regular meeting minutes and the special budget workshop minutes of May 12th, 2025, the special board meeting minutes of May 19th, 2025, the monthly bills in the amount of $124,125.63, and accept the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, brings us up to our report section. Fire Chief Don Smith.
Hello, with any luck at all, you all have a copy of my report. Medical runs ran about the same, fire runs the same. Don't really have much. If you have any questions, I'd be thrilled to try to answer.
Any status on our new fire truck?
Yeah, still slated for sometime in June. So, we saw pictures of it. It's all painted, tanks installed. Some of the striping was being put on it. So I suspect it's going to be
And you have to go get that? Or they
I
deliver?
think they'll deliver. If we have to go, I'm gonna send, 2 officers and 2 firefighters down, the week before they want to deliver it, just to do a punch list on it, what we like, what we don't like. And then, I think they'll at least meet us halfway.
Okay, any other questions for our fire chief?
I just got
I'll get you under public comment, sir. Is that, okay, gotcha.
Does that replace the truck then?
We will replace, the old 22, the open cab truck, which is for sale, by the way, if anybody needs a fire truck. It's a good truck.
Put it on Marketplace, it'll go.
Thanks, Don. Our police report, I don't have a police chief here tonight. We do have his report. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board reference our police report?
I do appreciate the report. It really gives a good breakdown how everything is being handled, and where it's being handled, and the amount of time. So I think this is pretty helpful.
In the future, I've asked him to incorporate, he's got us down in actual minutes. I'd like to see actual control hours, but it'll be simple for him to do, so. Okay.
Are the microphones working? Usually it's orange when I speak.
Mine is, that's why I asked if everybody else's was on.
Mine isn't.
Mine isn't either.
Let me shut it off and try it again. Okay, so mine's lighting up. Push the little voice thing down below. Does that do anything?
I'm guessing there's one of them's unplugged. I know, but I'm saying, because Mike's is working, and someone is not.
Is it
You know
plugged in?
everybody here can hear, but for the YouTube, nobody can hear us. It sounds like it's coming through. It sounds like it's coming through the speaker. Yeah, it's not showing here. I don't.
Hey, Mike?
Yeah.
Is there underneath of yours, is it plugged in, the one that comes this way?
I've got 2 of them here. They're both plugged in.
Okay. I don't know. You can speak for everybody then? Thank you. Let's go.
Just repeat after us, Mike.
Sorry, guys,
Okay, I'll have to look at it, I guess. Our OEO reports, which are the field inspection slips, we've got several. Ongoing light issues, most of them are light issues. Questions, comments, or concerns from the board? I'm sorry? Well, I don't, I'll get to it. Insofar as the assessor's report, I did not get one. Okay. So Mitch is in the process of transitioning to another township. We're going to be receiving another assessor in his place. I did not get a monthly from him. Park board representative, anything on the park board?
Sure, I attended a park board meeting Thursday night, and it went very well. Just want to encourage everybody to go and enjoy music in the park. Sounds like we've got a really nice and very full program planned for this summer. So if you have an evening free, please head out there and enjoy that. There's also some plans to redo the tennis court area and put in some pickleball courts and a basketball court. So we are always looking for donations or grants or anything like that that can help with that. But if you have any questions, everybody please call me. after. I'm the board rep, Dennis is the co-rep with me, so we're excited about it. It's a really, really nice landmark to take your grandchildren or just go for a walk out there. That's all I've got, Gary.
Public comment, anything from the public? Quite us showing up here tonight. Go ahead.
My name's Mark Brennan, and I'm just curious about how things go here. And right now, it seems like you guys already know what the agenda is here, and you probably all, it sounds like you're all in favor of what is going on here. And then when you ask, is anybody opposed to any of this stuff? Nobody even knows really what you're talking about until I got this right now. I'm new here, and if I oppose something and I raise my hand, well, because there's more in favor of it, it's like my opinion makes no difference. And I'm just wondering how many other people here are here just to view this. You could all stay home and watch it on TV maybe, but if we're here for a reason, and we might have some concerns, and if we do have them, I don't even have time to think about it, and maybe that's my fault, because I should be listening to the news and everything, so it's probably me. I'd like to just have an understanding for what's going on, and why somebody would oppose this, and why everybody else is in favor of it, which is okay, in favor of it, but if people oppose it, and they have a reason for it, and it should be listened to, I think, at least.
Mark, I don't quite know how to answer your entire question. We provide a copy of the agenda on the table as you come in the door for the public, so they can follow our format, okay? And so far as providing a copy of all the paperwork that we go through in a month's time to the public, we've never done that in the past, okay? The public comment portion of the meeting, and there's two of them, okay? It's time for the citizens like yourself here tonight to express your opinion, okay? We don't generally get into a debate over your opinion. But you're more than welcome to express your opinion, and you're more than welcome to come up to the township during business hours, Monday through Thursday from 8 till 2. Right here. If you wanted to see myself or the clerk or the treasurer, trustees, emails are on our website, okay? We have 4 trustees, so they're all available for discussion. But it would be astronomical amount of paperwork for me. Of course, normally we don't have this large of a crowd. And I'm supposing this large of a crowd is due to the discussion ensuing on the police contract. But we'll get into that shortly. But if you've got any questions under public comments, I can answer them possibly as brief as I can. But beyond that, you would have to come in and see me personally, and we could sit down in my office and we could discuss it. Or if it's not my situation, it would be the clerk or the treasurer or any one of us.
That's very helpful.
Also, too, there's, for anybody that doesn't have the agenda, there's 2 public comments. There's one right now that we're in, and then after we get done with our business, there's another public comment that people can speak. So there is 2 public comments during.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, during our meetings. So if you don't have an agenda, you don't know that, but now you do.
Right, and the agendas are posted on the website, and then as well as the minutes. So if anybody has any questions or wants to go back and research anything that we've done, please go back to the website, because you can pull all of that information up there.
For what it's worth,
Information is very helpful, I thank you for that. And I am not prepared.
Okay.
Well-
It's all right, Mark.
so last year, we had a budget of about $1,025,000. We came in total for the whole year, $3,000 under budget, which is pretty good. And what we do is every month, we do kind of a reconciliation of where the budget is running. I've got a report that I run every month. We see which areas are running hot and which ones are running below. We make sure it stays on track. And this year we were able to adjust one of the budgets to offset some of the increases that you see here. So all in all, I mean, we've had 2 open budget meetings so far, and that's where we kind of went through and made the sausage, so to speak. But at this point, and I give kudos to the board, when you've got $1 million budget and you find out the last month when you do a final reconciliation that you landed it within $3,000 to the good, that's pretty good. So we were pretty confident in it.
And I'm kind of a numbers kind of a guy that I like to see things stay and have a reason for things to go up, but also have a reason if they're going to go up. Not that everybody should be responsible for that individual per house. You know, if things are going up like police, we need more police and we need funds for them. I would suspect that we need more police because there's more people in the city. And their taxes should come up with everything to make all of our taxes not go up. Because new homes, they're getting full taxes here, and money should be available for it, and it should all equal out, or there shouldn't, it shouldn't raise the majority of everybody's taxes to cover it. That's for budgets.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I totally agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your comments. Anything else from the public? Yes, sir.
My name's Tony Demo.
I can't hear you, sir.
My name's Tony Demo. I live in the township.
Uh,
On Prunella Drive. I looked on the website and I really didn't see the meeting minutes for the 12th or the 19th, or there wasn't much in there.
I couldn't hear
The budget meeting minutes,
For the budget, there's only, on the budget meeting minutes, is that what you're talking about? It's just a discussion, is that your?
Yeah, there's like nothing really
So
in
it-
there.
How I've been taught is that I have to provide motions, and at budget workshop meetings, it's all discussion, it's not any motions. So if you watch the budget meeting, you would be able to see, like rewatch it on YouTube, you would be able to see what we discussed there.
Okay.
But we don't do, it's not a word for word thing for our minutes.
For instance, this meeting, everyone that speaks, all that doesn't go into the minutes, it's just the actions that we take up here.
Okay.
anything else?
People.
My name's Jeff Missouri. I live in the township also. I'm here concerned about the commercial building that was built in the residential area. This company is quite a dirty place. They have old concrete. They want to crush it out, and it's got a lot of pile about the size of this room. Want to make sure that they can't do that. And understanding that they are under permit not to do it, and if they do it, who do I call?
where's the property at?
It's M53 and Webster Road.
Webster Road, that's, Superior Contract.
Yes. Also concerned about their working hours. I understand they're 7 days a week, 7 to 7.
They work past 7 o'clock at night.
That's an issue, that we've been working on, okay, for.
Well, I know that you have, but what's happening about it? What's the progress? Because we have a whole bunch of neighbors that are concerned and are bothered by this deeply.
We had Mr. George Tenza, he's the owner there, come in and speak with, I think it was myself and Dennis Swears. Reference the concerns that the neighbors have over his business, okay?
Okay.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on it here with you tonight, because we've got a rather lengthy agenda to go through, but yes, he has business hours of 7 to 7. tells us that he does not normally work on Sundays, once in a while on a Saturday. We told him the concerns of the citizens, and he said he'll try to be more considerate in his operations as it relates to the folks that live near him. As to the concrete crushing, I know he did that initially. There is a concrete crusher on site. He tells me he's not crushing concrete, that he's hauling the concrete out to Kenny Diesel up in Almont Township. Kenny, I guess, crushes it up there. The height of the stockpiles are supposed to come down. He's aware of that, to the height of the fencing, okay, around the perimeter. So we're waiting for that to happen. So, but we're still monitoring the situation. So,
Dust is a big problem too.
I appreciate
Got a lot of neighbors here who are.
I appreciate your concerns, certainly I do, okay? And when we come to a total resolution, we will contact you folks. I've got a petition in my office. I think most of your probably names are on it. At this point in time, we're monitoring his progress on reducing the stockpiling and ensuring that he's not crushing any concrete. Now, has he crushed concrete in recent months? No.
But the season is young and we're getting right on it this year because last year was horrible. I mean, we couldn't even sit out in our backyard. And I know the people they're all right next door. They had to take out their screens and put in plastic. Oh, because of the dust factor being so bad. And it's in the noise factor, and I mean, we can't even sit out in our backyard.
We're gonna do anything and everything we can legally, okay, to control that situation. And my apologies on behalf of the township for the duress that you folks are under, but we're gonna do our best to rectify what we can.
There was people working there last year, 4th of July.
Oh, there were.
Yeah, in the morning.
In the mornings.
What were they doing?
Making
Truck workers.
noise, beeping. I couldn't even enjoy my coffee on a July 4th morning.
He tells me he's generally done by 5 o'clock.
No, he's working past 7.
He starts at 6 in the morning, I hear them trucks, he lives just north of him. And the truck, 6 o'clock in the morning, bulldozers out there, they're loading the semis. And 7, 8 o'clock at night, a lot of times they're still loading those semis, and semis are coming in dumping stuff.
Maybe we could have Mr. Israel go out there on some sporadic mornings and check and at night to see. That's our ordinance enforcement officer that could monitor that and get back with us.
But please understand, we haven't forgotten you, okay? We're still working on the situation.
The other thing is the fire, sometimes he will burn his scrap stuff in there, and he usually burns them like on a Friday. And yeah, it might be rain coming in the forecast, but there's times when you see that stuff flying, and I don't know, because I officially live in Emily City Township. I don't know what you guys are for Almont, if you guys have to have burn permits for that. But that's another thing you guys should watch for, is when he's burning.
There's no, Mr. Fire Chief, is there commercial burning allowed in Almont?
No, there's no commercial law burning allowed in Almont, and I'm not aware that George Tennessee is burning.
Okay.
does. People have to wait for the flares. To let them burn during the weekend.
They're smoldering all weekend.
Yes, this foreman.
What do we call?
We will continue to address it, okay? And I'll give some extra attention this week, see what we can do, okay? And again, I apologize on behalf of the township, but we'll try to get a handle on it for you. Anything else from the public?
Yeah, I just have a question. It's kind of minor after this discussion. I live over on Kidder Road, my name is Ken Pulse, between Tuck Spring and Almont Road. Who's responsible to fill the potholes that were introduced by the Great Lakes Water Authority? And who cuts the ditch? I'm right across from that 100-acre field. I noticed they just cut the ditch, or they cut along the shoulder, but nobody actually cut the ditch around the sidewalk side of the ditch. Can someone take care of that? And I'm just curious who's responsible to do it.
You're on Kidder Road?
Yes, sir.
Well, that would be the road commission.
They went through there and mowed it, but don't we usually have Jerry mow it? Yard Services usually mows it, I believe.
But we're asked to do it by the township board, so.
Okay. consider that done.
So it needs some attention.
Okay. See, what about potholes? Because I got one right in front of my house, and I just look to hear the traffic here, boom, 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 in the morning.
I talked to the engineer over there, Destin, and I think Bethany was talking to the water authority on that to try to resolve something there, but they, believe me, they know about it, and
They've known about it for 5 years now.
yeah, and they come out and they put silly clay in it or something and it goes away,
And
but
then in the spring it pops up, and then I got my dad with potholes again. There's a whole series of potholes, it's just not in front of my house. Really, really
I'll
got a pothole.
All right,
I'll call Jason tomorrow.
we'll address it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Randy, did you have anything under public comment?
Oh, yes, there's a gentleman here in the back row over there, Mr. Tom Evans. Yeah, stand up. Stand up. So out at the Ferguson Cemetery that the township just took over, this gentleman here went out and graded all the driveways to take that little hump out of the middle. And I pulled up one day and he's like, no, I'm not charging the township. I said, what do you mean you're not charging? Well, I'm doing this out of the goodness of his heart. So I wanted to acknowledge him for doing a good deed for the township.
Thank you.
And it looks nice.
Looks great, thank you,
Yes.
Tom, appreciate it. Okay, we'll go to public comment. I'm sorry?
I have a question on the park.
On the park, okay.
I know it's part of the village, it's not part of the township, but should they get together and finish up that sidewalk to walk to the damn park?
Where are we talking, the sidewalk?
Well, the sidewalk ends as soon as the township ends, and then the village starts, the sidewalk ends. And then from there to the park, there's no sidewalk.
That was
The entrance to the park.
through the Edison plant, right down there, substation.
Yeah.
Okay. I think aren't they negotiating with DTE about putting sidewalk in there after they dismantle?
After they were done, I know they're gonna probably be getting rid of the property.
Yeah.
Disposing of it completely.
Yeah.
So that's probably gonna be addressed. I think that substation is gonna be coming out and they're gonna end up selling the property. And as part of that, pardon?
We gotta cross Almont Road, how are you gonna do that?
That's the
I don't-
village.
yeah.
That's not the township.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is we're one little group here, I mean, township and the village.
Well, if they want to take their funds and put a sidewalk in, that's be the village funds. We don't do work in the village. Correct?
We do have a park board that does both, doesn't you?
Right, I can make them aware, you can talk with the village people tomorrow and just express your concerns and
Well,
if we wanna get
Well, just
another.
like the other day, it was all the elementary school kids were walking down the street, and all of a sudden the sidewalk goes from this big to about this big.
Right,
And then they're going up Almont Road.
right. No, I have great children to Okie, so I am well aware, but I will bring that up to them and make note that we've had, community requests for them to submit. And I'm sorry, my voice sounds terrible, I'm trying to drink hot tea, but it's kind of, I will,
Well, isn't there a plan to redo all the sewers on Almont Road anyway?
I'm not aware that the village would be the group to ask. They do not make us aware of it. If you would like to leave your number with me, I can make sure.
Well, I left my number
to
last time about the holes on all over the place and no one comes.
If you give your number to me, I will promise you I'll pass it on to the village.
Anything else, folks? All right, we're gonna close the first public comment, move on to new business. Public hearing on a special assessment for the police department. We've opened the public hearing at, what time is it? 7:28 p.m. Okay, we currently, have a, special assessment for police coverage at 2 mills, okay? We are currently in contract negotiations with the Almont Police Department. The mechanics, if you will, of the contract is potentially changing. The police officers in the village have just received a 14% negotiated wage increase, okay, for 1 year. Our contract is normally a 3-year contract. So the cost of the contract last year, the 3rd year of the contract, was roughly $450,000 for one patrol officer, 24/7, 365 days of the year. The increase in the contract is substantial. We've had 2 contract negotiations to date. I'd like to feel that we're getting closer to a settlement, but we have not reached that settlement at this point in time. Is there anything else from the board?
I just want to make note that the increase that was proposed to us initially, increased, the cost of the contract over $300,000 for 1 year. That's on top of the $450,000 that we paid. So it was upwards of $700,000, and there was no additional police coverage that we would see for that. It was basically a big increase for the same coverage. So I have, major concerns about that. The police, the department does a great job. They really do. But a $318,000 increase is huge. And that would definitely change all of the financial situation for us and for the residents. So I'm glad that we're taking our time. I'm glad that we're looking at all the details because it's a big chunk for everybody to shoulder. And I just want everybody to know we're very, very conscious of the price that this would cost every resident. We're really concerned about that. So that's where we're at. I'm sorry, that's where I'm at.
That's where we're at as a board. I'll get to you, sir. Anything else from the board?
Well, I guess as one of the people that was on the negotiating team, I can tell everybody there were 3 things that we felt were really important. First off, we did view the village police department as our provider of choice. We want to do everything we can to make sure that we have local coverage. Second, we wanted to make sure that we were 100% in agreement. We wanted to make sure that we still had a school liaison. We found out that that is currently funded through the county. So there's no risk. I know I saw some chatter about losing the school liaison. Nobody's going to let that happen, and it shouldn't, because it's not funded locally. It's funded by the county. The third thing that we said was there's a level of coverage that we need and that we've always had, but it has to be at a reasonable cost, and that's what we're working on now. Because like the gentleman said before, as property values go up, that does provide additional funding where you can escalate your contract accordingly, but there has to be some proportionality, and that's what we're working on. So it would be inappropriate to try to negotiate in a big open room like this or to do it on Facebook or whatever, but I can tell you that we have spent many, many, many hours and done many, many, many calculations, and we are committed to try to get this completed.
Thanks, Kim, Mike. So therefore, we're going to basically table the special assessment for the police department at this point in time. And I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:32 p.m. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public hearing on the general fund budget. The Township General Appropriations Act. Estimated township general fund revenues for the fiscal year 25-26, including voter authorized millage of 1.2730 mils. Various miscellaneous revenues shall total $1,048,892. Okay, the estimated township general fund expenditures for the fiscal year 25-26 for the various township activities will be $1,021,975. Any questions, answers, comments from the board? Reference the General Appropriations Act. Did you get the time on that? Okay. There's no questions.
Just to refresh my memory, on the roads, we did increase that again.
We did not increase that.
I do believe we increased it over what was actually spent last year, though. I think we over budgeted last year.
We did not expend the entire road maintenance budget. I think we used some ARPA funds at that point in time to offset that expenditure.
I looked at the tax millage last year. So this year we're proposing for the township only 1.2730. And last year it was 1.27750. So it came down just a little bit. So we're not raising it. So I think that's important for us to know moving forward that we're down just a little bit on it.
Anything else? Okay. We'll close the public hearing at 7:35. Next item of business is public hearing on the fire fund budget.
You have to do a motion.
I'm sorry?
You have to do a motion.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion. Motion to approve the Township General Appropriations Act, Almont Township for fiscal year 2025-2026 for the general fund.
Support.
The motion is on the floor to accept the General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 25-26 with support. Is that a roll call?
So Hennessy, yes. Streeter?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Eschenberg?
Yes.
Dodge?
Yes.
Swears?
Yes.
Roseback?
Yes. Okay, next item on the business is public hearing for the fire fund budget. Open that hearing at 7:36 p.m. Estimated township fire. Estimated township fire fund revenues for fiscal year 25-26, including voter authorized millage of 0.9731 mils and various miscellaneous revenues shall total $813,000. The estimated expenditures for the fire fund for fiscal year 25-26 will be $701,050. Questions, comments, or concerns from the board?
Now, again, I looked at the millage rate from last year.
Correct.
This year, fire's at 0.9731. Last year, we were at 0.97660. So again, we've come down a little bit from that, not a huge amount, but every little bit helps. So I just wanted everyone again to be aware of that.
Okay, anything else? All right. Entertain a motion. I'm sorry.
Close it.
I'm sorry. Closing the meeting at 7:36, is that what I have? Okay.
So I'll make a motion to
7:38.
approve the fire fund budget in the amount quoted.
Support.
Okay, motion's on the floor to accept the fire fund for Special Appropriation Act and it is with support and a roll call vote, please.
Chris,
Yes.
Eschenberg,
Yes.
Henneke, yes. Swears,
Yes.
Weider, yes. Scott, Rosebeck.
Yes. Next order of business is the park board budget. I'm going to refer to him or Dennis on that.
Everybody should have a copy of the park board budget. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, I would like to make a motion to approve the park board budget for 2025 through 2026 as presented.
Don't have a copy of that. Do we have another copy?
I don't either.
No, I'll send them. This is, you have it right there.
So does this include an increase from?
It does. If you look on the the second line down in the revenue, it says park budget contribution, that's 17.5, that is the township's contribution. Right under that, it says contribution from general fund for 17.5, that is the contribution from the village. So we're both contributing the same amount.
So you're suggesting that we increase 5,000 over what it was last year?
Correct, yes.
Okay, that was the first time I'm seeing it, so I apologize that I've got to.
I just received it also today.
If we ever get a plan, then what's gonna be done? Or is this just
So there is a plan.
that money?
No. There's a plan. It's the park board, there's a master plan that was recently done. It's got a number of different projects and goals that they want to accomplish. I think Roberta Cudson also had submitted some documentation. She is still on the park board, and they went over more specifically different things. They need mulch, they need, supplies, they need, it takes money, to get the grass cut, to, keep the place up, to, run the lights. So everything seems to be going up, and, we were paying $12,500, for the past few years. They really, at that point, only have enough between our portion of 12.5 and the village's portion at 12.5. It's literally only enough to pay the bills. There is nothing extra, and they're doing good work there, and they're very passionate about it. And I'd like to see us increase that donation by $5,000 this year. And also the village will be doing that.
So has the village approved that?
I don't believe so. I believe their meeting follows yours.
So
But I don't, it follows ours. But I believe they were very much on track to do this thing.
did we ever answer the question? I know it came up at the last meeting about the kind of double funding the DPW.
Right.
They're charged with maintaining grounds and maintaining buildings and stuff for the village and the stuff the village owns. And yet when they do it for the park, it's charged out separate. Did we get an answer for how does that accounting work?
And I brought that up, and there was no one from the village at the park board meeting, but the DPW, I think it's important to know that the DPW opens the bathrooms every morning. When they get there, they shut the bathrooms, they keep them clean, they clean them, they mow the lawn, they do general maintenance out there. And, you and I talked about this, and I don't believe they look at it the same way as what you're thinking it through.
It just seems like some of that responsibility falls in the scope of the DPW. That's their job.
Normal maintenance.
They take care of property that's owned by the village, but then the portion that goes to the park, it's like, well, we'll carve that out and charge that separate. That's what I struggle with is if the choice is either go cut the lawn or have a coffee and watch TV in the, warehouse, I guess I'd say, well, you got the guys, they're here, they're being paid for the 8 hours. They should be doing all that stuff anyway. I just wanted to understand how the accounting worked in that regard.
And if you would feel more comfortable, we can table this, and that would give you time to reach out. Because if you can go to the village.
Yeah, if we can adopt, we adopted the other budgets. I'm not at all opposed to helping the park. I think the park's great. Like I said, my grandkids use the park. I just don't want to charge people twice. If it's already being paid and I'm just providing additional money so that the guys can have, they don't have to do what they were essentially hired to do, well, then that doesn't feel right. So I want to know how that works.
Right, and your concern is more like you don't want to have a double dipping.
Exactly.
Situation, and I agree with you. So I can follow up with the village again tomorrow and try to get a more concrete answer from them.
And I'm one voice. If everybody else is comfortable with it, that's okay, but I just want to understand it, that's all.
Percentage-wise, it's about the same percentage increase as what the police department's looking for. It's about a 40% increase. So it's definitely something that needs to be taken seriously. Well, 5,000 doesn't sound like a lot compared to the 450,000. It's still a 40% increase. So,
Well, it's $5,000. We spent a lot more than that out of the baseball fields, the dugouts. I do not think $5,000 is on the same scale as a $318,000 increase. So, again, I'm happy to postpone it for now. I did not create this budget. I'd be happy to postpone it, and I can get those answers. I'm assuming we'll be having a special board meeting before the end of the month. I can have those answers. Hopefully we'll explain a little bit more, concisely. Yeah, I will withdraw my motion.
Yeah, if that's okay, just so that we have a clear conscience if we decide. And with respect to the baseball diamonds, let me get this clear. How much did we get from the village for the baseball diamonds?
I do not believe that we received.
I'm positive we received nothing, so that's not a good comparison.
Okay. I'll get some more information.
All right.
well, and that was also a specific purchase, right? We purchased specific items. This is just $5,000. It's just something to put in the wallet that if you need it, here it is.
I have an issue with that. That's not what they do. And
That's not what they do, but we asked, every time they come to us and ask for money for something, we always give it to them.
Right.
Now it's just asking for the money up front. It's like your kid walking up and saying, I'm not gonna tell you where I'm going or what I'm doing, but give me $5,000. You're gonna ask questions. It's just due diligence.
I will get the answers that will clarify for everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Next order of business is the Almont Township Board acceptance of public road for Daisy Lane. And our clerk prepared a resolution in support of certifying Daisy Lane resolution number 2025-003. So I would, you should all have a copy of the resolution. I would ask for a motion to that effect.
That's fine.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-003 and support to certify Daisy Lane within Almont Township and for 0.30 miles to be added to the Almont Township local road system mileage by the Lapeer County Road Commission.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion in place with support. Roll call, please. Any board discussion, answer questions,
It's all approved.
I'm sorry?
It's all approved from the road commission.
It's all approved from the road.
It doesn't meet their standards, don't mean they're buying off on it.
Yeah, she actually sent me this resolution. I just added our information to it. It came from the road commission. So, roll call.
Roll call.
Henneke, yes. Streeter,
Yes.
Spears,
Yes.
Dodge,
Yes.
Ashenberg,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Roseback.
Yes. Okay, motion is approved. Secondly, we have a Almont Township acceptance of public road for Pinecrest Development Phase 2 and 3. Evergreen Trail, Fir Court, and Pine Lake Boulevard. I would ask for a motion to that effect.
I move to approve a resolution 2025-004 to certify 3 new roads within Pinecrest subdivision through the Evergreen Trail, Fir Court, and Pine Lake Boulevard within Almont Township, and for said lakes to be added to the Almont Township local road system, mileage by the Lapeer County Road Commission.
Okay, we have a motion in place with support. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Streeter,
Yes.
Dodge,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Spears,
Yes.
Ashenberg,
Yes.
Henneke, yes. Roseback.
Yes. I wanted to add that we have a Mr. Jim Green here tonight. He's a representative of Lombardo Homes for Pinecrest Development. Jim, if you wanted to add anything, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's fine too.
No, just appreciate your motion to approve, and we're looking forward to getting started. We've sold some new homes in there. We've got 3 sold already, and several deposits. Things are looking positive.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Joe. Second public comment.
Gary got
Go ahead.
somebody back.
I'd like to recognize Mr. Green and his company. Dennis, and you were all aware that we have a dry hydrant on that area. There's some encumbrance to it. Mr. Green took the bull by the horns and his company straightened that out better than ever.
Did a great job, yeah. Thank you for that. Well done. Thanks, Don. Second public comment. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Shelley Price. I live in Drakeshire Farms. And I have a question about the negotiations. Do I understand that the police negotiated their contract for that raise and that now it's in question after it was negotiated?
There's the 2 negotiations going on. The police contracted with their union, okay, with the village of Almont for pay raises, okay? And that has nothing to do with the township, okay? We contract with the township for a police officer 24/7 in our township. So there's 2 different contracts. They just came close together at occurrence.
Well, the raise that they're asking for,
Yes.
the $300,000, was something that was negotiated with their union, and somebody approved that, correct, or not?
They got approved for a 14% wage increase, but that has nothing to do with the contract, with the potential new contract with the village and the township for police coverage.
It's the 300,000 is not made up solely of the 14% pay increase. We had a set of numbers, then they finalized the agreement with the police officers. The numbers went up by that 14%, but there's a number of different things that are in those numbers, not just the raise.
I'm still a little confused, but okay.
Well, the contract, ma'am, the contract, when we do settle the contract, come to agreement, will encompass the 14% raise. So that's one of the causes of an increase in the contract. But there are other areas of the contract that are being discussed other than the police officers' wages. Yes, sir.
In other words, from the approximately 1 million that they were at last year, and they want to raise it to $1.6 million budget this coming year, where besides the 14% increase, where is that all that other money that they want to spend?
Well, that's part of their infrastructure. far as the maintenance of the building and so on and so forth.
Plus, giving the chief a 7-year contract.
Well, that's their contract. It's not the township's contract, that's the village contract. Yes, Mark?
And where is all this money coming from?
Comes from a special assessment from the taxpayers in the township.
From the taxpayers
In the township.
and in the township, but basically, we are paying for that through our taxes, is that right?
Yes.
And somebody else has made it okay that we're paying this. And
Not yet.
Pardon?
Not yet.
Our contract,
Okay, and that's,
yeah, Mark, our contract with the village expires June 30th, this month, okay, a couple weeks. So we've had a contract with the village for close to 15 years that I'm aware of, okay, for police patrols. Prior to that, we didn't have a police patrol in the township, okay? The sheriff's department might come by once in a while, the state police might come by once in a while, but if we needed a local officer and he wasn't busy in the village, he would come out to the township. So it just got to the point years ago that we were getting busy, we wanted to entertain having a full-time police officer. That's when we entered into a contract with the village. That goes back 15 years, okay? So now that contract, it was a 3-year contract in succession, so we're expiring that contract in 2 weeks. We're negotiating for a new contract based upon what he wants, what we want. We're not totally in agreement. I can't disclose those numbers tonight, but we are working on it.
well, I'd like to get a raise myself, you know, and I'd like to pay social security to be there, and all this stuff isn't being had, and you know why. But this is where I'm coming from. You know, if I would want more money, I need to work for it myself. It's not gonna come because I just tell everybody I want more money, and then you people will all get together and give it to me through your taxes. If that makes any sense at all, yeah, that's what I would like to do, but we have to live on what we have.
But we're trying to live on what we can afford.
Yes, and that's where we need to end up some of these things that people want, these raises for the police and everything else. Yeah, they're great guys, they're good to have around, but we're not making any more money ourselves. I'm not. If I want to make more money, I gotta go out and make it someplace.
We're trying to be as frugal, Mark, as we
It
can.
sounds like you are, and
We are.
and I like the way you're thinking. But when you start talking millions of dollars, then I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure that all of us here make $1 million a year.
Police departments, fire departments, emergency medical personnel, they're expensive. But people want it, and people need it, you know, so I think we'd be remiss if we said, well, forget it, we don't want a contract, okay? We've got people out here, 7,000 residents that don't have police protection, maybe get a state car, it might take them an hour to get here. Might have a sheriff's car, takes an hour to get here.
They're all safe
Sheriff's got 4 cars on the road for the whole.
Show up later, you know, all the damage is done.
Right.
So we don't need so many workers.
We're doing what we can, we're doing what we can to save your money, okay?
Yeah.
So that's all I can tell you.
And it does sound like you are, you know, you're doing the best you can, but I get places and these things and then point out the numbers, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm not making that much, I'm not getting a 14% raise.
So,
I don't, no, and I'm using old money that's not worth what it was back then, and now we're getting increases.
we're all getting into that dilemma, I'm with you, I know.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody to know that this past year, because of the police millage, and this, you will see it on your tax bill, it says township police. It's at 2 mils. A number of years ago, it was at 2.25. We were able to reduce that. So, and that is my first priority, to keep that as low and reasonable as possible. So if you have a chance, look at your older tax bill, and you'll see it right down here, and it's currently 2 mils. So that's
Let's get it down to 1.5.
Going back 20 years.
Yeah, let's get back 20 years.
I'd love to, really. A lot more houses. Yes, ma'am.
I was just curious as to, like, at the, years ago, we came from Bruce Township, we had the same thing where the police,
Yep.
Romeo Village.
Yep.
So with all of that, what happened was because of the fire hall department on Van Dyke, they housed the state police there. Right, so I was just curious, is there any possibility of something like that happening if we could not get a contract with the
Well,
village?
the state police is mandated by law to cover criminal activity with the state of Michigan. They can go anywhere, okay? They can go into Almont, Romeo, Lapeer, it doesn't matter, okay? Their area of patrol down there, Romeo, I'm not sure what their area of patrol is. If you called them and said, hey, I need a car up here, a patrol car, to take a stolen auto report, they're probably gonna refer you to the Almont Police Department, because their spread is so thin, you follow me? But we're looking at all contract options, we would like to keep with the village, I think that's generally the public sentiment. Okay, and we'd like to satisfy that if at all possible. If it falls apart, we can't, then we will entertain other possibilities. Could be the sheriff, maybe talk with the state police.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about contracting with the sheriff, you know, the county or anything, I'm just saying like having that, like at Bruce Township, just having that presence, giving them an area where they can do their reports. Maybe there's something, if there's a, you know, a spot in the building over here that we can give like a county sheriff where they have an area that they can do their reports and that gives us a little extra coverage so we don't have that hour call.
Yeah, if we ended up contracting with the county sheriff, that's generally what would happen, okay? That's how they do it with the Polk County, okay? They would assign a car to the township, so the officer reports ready to work at the township.
Question, the 14% increase that we were talking about, that's not wages, is it?
What was it, sir?
Is that just only wages, or is that?
They got a 14% wage increase, that was it.
They're asking for a 60% increase for both us and the village.
Okay, now, I want to ask you one question. Does anybody know what a police officer gets in here?
What he gets,
Salary.
well, we had that listed somewhere, I can't remember what it was.
I heard it was
Yeah.
less than driving.
We know, yeah, we know what they make.
I'm sorry?
We know what they make, but can't really talk about that. That's not right.
Yeah. We hesitate to get into that discussion because of the contract negotiations that we're in currently, okay? When they got that raise, that brought them up with Dryden PD, Metamora PD, okay? And that's how the game is played in contract negotiations, at least with police officers. Me having been one, I mean, I went through that for 25 years. So, basically Almont played catch up with the other officers, with the other police departments. But whatever their raise is at 14%, that will be taken in under the new contract if we agree on a contract with them.
Are we just talking 14% straight across, is that 14% plus extras, like another new car?
Well, they want, the best I can tell you is they want extra, okay, there's other things, you know.
So the 14%
It's the wage, that's strictly the wage. Okay. Who's first?
Right here. All right,
Let me
I'm
get this
standing
gentleman.
first, so.
Okay.
Brian Clinton, resident of Fresnel Drive.
Yes, for another drive.
So you got me really excited when I saw special assessment was the first item on the docket, and you didn't bring up Fresnel.
You was hoping I was.
I was really hoping for it. So what's the status?
What's the status on Pernell? We haven't made a decision yet. We've got a document in our township attorney's office for review. Okay, that's Mr. Bob Siebert. Bob hasn't got back to me yet on that issue.
So you guys need to find a new lawyer.
Well,
Because I've been here, coming here since January. And you guys said, out of everybody, you guys said, hey, if all the residents on the street want it, why wouldn't we help you guys out? And we're gonna talk to our lawyer. And I've been given that same response every single month for almost 6 months. So, get a new lawyer. We're looking for some, I have a whole crowd of residents from the street looking for the special assessment.
Right, if the board had an answer for you, sure, I would certainly let you know, but I don't have an answer yet.
What are, like a time?
One of the, situations of getting involved in private roads, we've got 35 of them, I think, in the township. There's people here tonight, yourself included, that know the process, public hearings, paperwork, and so on and so forth, that you go through. We could be inundated with applications from the other private roads. The township foots the bill initially. We don't have that kind of war chest, okay, to be financing basically the loans, okay? That's paid back through your special assessment. So our fund balance isn't such that we can just hand them out like free, So that's what we're trying to decide. We're trying to decide, quite frankly, whether we're going to get involved in those programs or not. Our option is to opt out and not do them. All right, we don't necessarily want to be that way, but it may happen that way.
So what happened from the first conversation when everybody was like, yeah, let's help you guys out, we have the extra funds, to where we're at today?
Well, we don't have the extra funds. Right. We have the extra funds. That's been my concern since you and I met, this isn't affordable for the township. So the township has those concerns. I mean, we've got a road that we're looking to pave ourselves, okay, and it's upwards of $1 million. Well, it's actually $1,113,000, okay. So that's going to put a big dent in our general fund, if you will.
Is that a private road?
We haven't forgot you. Your name's on my desk. I haven't forgot you. The wheels aren't turning fast enough. I understand that. I will call Mr. Seaver tomorrow morning, and I will call you after I speak with Ron. Okay? I'll let him know your sentiments.
The issue is the road was never built correctly, and these people are suffering property damage because the road's not built correctly.
Brunella?
Yes.
I have no clue on whether that road was built correctly.
So who signed off on it?
Signed off on it? The county did. Well, it was a different board at that time, so.
Well, we're not blaming you specifically, but we're asking you to correct the wrong. These people are suffering property damage. Their properties are flooding out because the roads is incorrect. It's below the grade. So you need to address it, and we need a timeline for it. Because you got a whole group of people here, we're willing to bring more people in. And select this place every month until you correct it.
We will try to address it. We are in process. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
So back to the police. You said their contract is up at the end of June, correct?
That's correct.
So that will be before the next meeting, correct? No?
No, our next meeting is the second Monday of July.
Of July, yeah, so it would be settled before that, and so.
What would happen between now and June 30th, if we reach an agreement, we'll have a special meeting, okay, to adopt the contract.
Okay, so do the residents have any input other than tonight as to whether or not that's something that
You would be invited to come to a special meeting, posted on our website, or posted on the outside bulletin board at the township. So you'd be more than welcome. There's a public comment part of every meeting. Yes. Mark.
I have a suggestion. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I have a suggestion that, if the police want this 14% raise, that they're talking about, they should go to Dryden or Metamora, and we should get new police that will go for the whole contract and have them take over Almont.
Okay. There's a thought. Tim?
What happens if we go through this agreement? How does this?
If we don't reach an agreement, then I guess we'll have to rely on the sheriff patrol, okay, through your county millage, or the state police, or we would consider a contract maybe with the sheriff.
My comment on that is, what price for public safety? I mean, we had an occasion, I got in an accident in Almont, and within maybe 2 minutes, the police were there. If I'm waiting for the sheriff, it's gonna be an hour.
That's,
You're lucky.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless the sheriff assigns the cars to be the Almont Township.
So would that be 24/7?
Well, that would be our desire. I don't even want to go there until we finish our negotiations with the village. I put a call into the sheriff several weeks ago. He was supposed to call me back. His father was ill in the hospital. I never received a call back, but he's aware of what's going on in Almont. Okay? So in the event that this doesn't work with the village, we will be contacting the sheriff.
There's 7 other townships within the county that currently contract with the town, with the county.
Okay, so we are the most southeast portion of the county, right, way away from everything else.
Correct.
And that's just, yeah.
Right.
That's, you know,
Depending on what that contract may be, you may have an officer here that doesn't go back there, only when there's arrests and that.
What is that, would that be 24/7?
That would be whatever contract we negotiate at that time.
We're trying our best at this point, so we'll let you know. A couple more, and we've got to close the public comment. Yes, sir.
I've been patrolling this community for over 30 years.
Correct.
So I think I got a pretty good idea on the dynamics of responding to emergencies. And not only law enforcement emergencies, but I would say probably close to 100%, maybe 99%, I missed a couple, of the time that there's a medical or a fire emergency, because the police are mobile, we're the first ones there. Thank God we're trained in CPR, and if necessary, we have the equipment, the AEDs in the car. And if there's a major fire, we're able to communicate to the fire department. House is occupied, unoccupied, 2-story dwelling, fully involved, or whatever. And it's because that we are mobile, and we know the community, we know the people, we respond as quickly as possible. So what I would ask, in whatever decision the board makes, is that it's an absolutely critical component that you factor in the response time. Minutes, and here you know this being a law enforcement officer for 25 years, minutes sometimes is too long, be it a medical, fire, or police emergency. Somebody's breaking in your house, you don't want to have to wait however long. You want the police to be there, and rightfully so, we should be there as quickly as we can. So I ask that you take that into consideration.
We're trying our best to keep.
Oh, I'm not saying you're not, I'm just giving you my perspective, having been patrolling this community for as long as I have.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and the other thing is this, that we're basically running out of time. What happens on July 4th? If there's issues, God knows we get a lot of calls on the 4th of July. Most of them are nuisance, noise calls, whatever. Who's going to be responding to that? And how long will the delay be? So I asked the board to take that into consideration and to follow up on what you said, sir. It's not always about money. It's about life safety issues. And again, I know you have to be fiscally responsible, but there comes a point in time where, hey, what's more important? Is the community going to be safer or less safe? And if it's going to be less safe for the purpose of saving money, is it worth it? And I'll leave it at that.
I appreciate your comments. Thank you. One more.
Just a quick question, if we do decide to go back with Almont, is there any way that the township is more safe in what happens with the police?
That's gonna be discussed.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, because of what happened in the past.
If we're gonna buy in at a certain percentage, maybe we should have a little more Right.
You know, because
Inputs as to how the department's run.
let's face it, there is a few things that literally nobody in the township knew about that the village was dealing with until it was kind of too late.
I'm with you on that, sir. I appreciate your comments.
So, well, in fairness, Gary, let me add this.
I'm sorry?
So I don't like to make excuses and I don't take excuses, but the fact of the matter is, the first time that we had any conversation or any inkling of what the new costs and so forth were going to be, it's 3 weeks ago. Okay, in 3 weeks, we've had 2 meetings to try to understand the numbers, try to negotiate a package. I mean, it just hasn't been a lot of time. You know, it's not like we've been working on this for 2 months. So to Gary's point, we're trying to do as much as we can, as fast as we can. But if we were talking about, you know, a $2,000 increase, it would have been done 3 weeks ago. It's not. And I've got a lot of folks that I hear from this side, you know, you got to be a good steward of the funds in the township. And I've got other people that, you know, I got to have good coverage. We're trying to get that balance. It's like a human algebra equation that we're trying to get done. We've only had 3 weeks to work on it. So it's front and center in our mind. We're working on it.
The village hasn't finalized their contract with the police department either, right? That's what I'm working on. They currently don't have a contract with their workforce, and we don't have a contract with them. So it's for them to provide services. Can't really put part of the workforce.
Okay, correspondence, Jenny, I give that to you, Decker.
Jenny? Gary, can I butt in just for a second here?
Okay.
If we go back to new business, number 1, public hearing, the special assessment.
Yeah.
We tabled that.
Yes.
Did we do a motion on that?
We don't have to make a motion to table, we're just tabling it, but.
But I think what we need to add to that is that this has to be dealt with before June 30th of 2025. So the public hearing, so can we add that into the minutes there, that we're adding that in?
To take place by June
Be-
30th.
Yeah, before June 30th, 2025.
By June 30th, right.
Yes, I just think that would be
Okay.
a target and have it in the motion that, yes, we are gonna revisit this. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. Decker Insurance?
I gave everyone just a copy of what we knew the insurance was gonna go up some. It went up 15%. So I just want everyone to be aware of the amount that our insurance goes up. That does include cybersecurity we had went with that contract, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. That does include cybersecurity for us too, so. I budgeted for more than that, so I was actually surprised that it wasn't quite as high as I thought it was gonna be. So I just wanted you all to be aware of what we were paying for insurance here. Questions?
No, you're talking about, whatever happened to that check that got, somebody made, was a township check, remember there?
I remember very well.
Whatever happened to that, did that fall under insurance thing or anything?
No, but, what happened was, we wrote a check to our attorney for their invoice, and in the course of the check's movement, it was stolen. And somebody created another check for a couple $1,000s more than what that original check was for. It was from Tri-County Bank, and I worked with them, and they were awesome. They paid us back right away, but that difference was, so we were not out any money at all. We're currently under a restricted account, so that we have like ultra like careful security now. And in the meantime, we have opened up a new account, and so we're in the process of bringing everything over to that new account and then closing that fraudulent, that account that had fraud on it, based on what we were encouraged to do by MTA. So we were not out anything, we were reimbursed right away. And let's hope it never happens again. It was not so much help.
It was caught right away though.
It was caught right away.
Probably why we didn't have more.
Okay, board discussion. Mike, I'm gonna turn this over to you.
Yeah, so what we have done, and first, let me thank my partners here, Kim and Rick. We felt, and we've talked about having some type of a little more firm policy around hiring practices, employee evaluations, pay scales, and hiring practices, and how we essentially established the pay practices in the township so that it was clearly understood and that there was no question and it wasn't, put up with whatever until you can't stand it and then have to make bad decisions. So we had an HR committee. The HR committee sat down. We put together, if you found this in your mailboxes today, it goes through in detail. It gives a kind of an overview summary. It talks about the different policies that we're putting in place or that we're recommending. It's entirely up to the board. But what we tried to do is to take some of the best practices out there to make sure that everything is legally defensible and that we have the appropriate paper trails, that everybody understands exactly when and how you would hire people, when and how you would get a raise, when and how you would do evaluations and how you would document that. It goes through it in a lot of detail. So what I would ask is if everybody could just kind of take a look at it. If you have questions, there's no pride of authorship here. We can make any edits that we have to make. We can make any changes. Any of the changes in here that would result in any impact on the budget have been accounted for already. So you'll know exactly what it would cost to do some of these things if they do have a cost associated. But please give it some attention so that we can maybe, if we have a special meeting before the end of the month, we could maybe get agreement on this particular handbook, if that's okay. And again, Rick and Kim, both, they were, great team to work with. I really appreciate all the input. You guys did a great job.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
You got 2 comments, Mike?
Yeah.
Take a look at the responsibilities for the deputies and the red book. Just when you get a chance. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, okay.
I look at those. The other thing, you may want to consider adding a deputy supervisor in here. We talked, because that's a possibility that we could have that in the future. I know we don't have it now.
Yeah, we could have.
Mandated requirements for the clerk.
Yep.
Just add that, let's talk to that.
I agree. Yeah, we can add that as a line item in there. That's not hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are specific deputy responsibilities that deputies cannot do in the red book by law.
Okay.
I don't know if they have to be in here or not.
Well, if we had the potential for a deputy supervisor, you've covered the 3 possible deputies then. So, yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem.
I would just make a reference to the red book.
Yeah.
Because that's the Bible. That way, if the book changes, we don't have to update our document. It just refers to the master document to refer to the MTA.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay,
Thanks.
I'm done.
We've got a couple bid proposals here that we need to just think about in the near future. One is for the paving, repaving of the township driveways and parking lot. There's 4 bids here. I think you've all got copies of it. Our half currently needs a paper overlay because of the trucks that service the recycling dumpsters. Not something we need to do tonight, but if you guys review those bids, come up with some ideas and your thoughts for possibly next meeting. The other issue is the Scott settlement bid. Now, it says estimated for information only. This is a survey for 2025 construction only, so that's a 2-mile section in there, came in at $1,113,000, okay? The Scott Settlement Road. I don't know how late into the season they could do that. That was a 3 to 5 year project. I think we're in our 3rd year. We've got entertaining ideas on paying for it. So something to consider after we get through this police contract issue. We need to look at those two issues. What's that then?
The payment for this split with the 50/50.
50/50, and it looks like our side would be a little more expensive because of the thicker overlay.
Yeah, we still split 50/50.
Right.
Okay. And then
The other issue I wanted to mention, and I think you're all aware of it, is recently, within the last day or two, we lost Alex, our planner from Rowe Engineering. Kevin Bellanuga had a discussion, I guess, with Alex a few days ago, but there was no indication to us or to Kevin or Dennis as to who their replacement may be. So at some point, I'm gonna have to get a hold of Rowe and find out what's going on there. We also have a PC vacancy. Brian Blumline is gonna be deployed. He's in the Air National Guard, being deployed to the Middle East. He's got his hands full there, so he's gonna step down. And Wednesday will be his last meeting, so we're gonna have to fill that vacancy here in the very near future. So if you guys got any ideas on candidates that I'm toying with, I'll review our applications to see if we have any current applicants.
Can we put that out on the website again?
What's that?
Can we put it out on the website again?
Yes.
And probably social media, to see if we can get any new applications.
Yeah. So that's all I have for tonight from myself. Mike, do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Randy? Jen? Yeah.
I just want to make everyone aware that tax bills should be in the mail right around July 1st. If you don't receive
Woohoo.
it by the middle of July, please call or email me, and we'll make sure you got a copy. If you have a mortgage company, you will not get a bill because those bills go directly through your mortgage company. However, if you want a copy, just for your records, I'm more than happy to email or mail it, so just let me know. That's all.
Okay, great. As far as the police contract deal, I know we talked about this a month ago or whatever. I think we need to at least parallel path so that if something falls on the village, that we have some type of plan to fall back on. There's too many unknowns with the sheriff's department right now. I think we need to have at least some type of post-it note with some numbers on it of what it potentially would cost. I'm not at all interested in having no police coverage. So we would have to act really quickly and we're down to the wire as it is. So it's just a safety net. I want to stay with the village as much as we can. But if something goes south, I want to have some type of backup plan and not have any police coverage. You know, just relying on the occasional state or the sheriff just, you know, maybe.
Well, I guess, right, I would agree with you, and that's where I think the first contact person would be the sheriff for contract, okay, not just a routine patrol.
Yeah. The discussion I had with our county commissioner, Brian Zender, they are the ones that approved the discount that because we opted in for the police millage that we voted into, we would receive a discount from the sheriff's department for police coverage. That's not honored by the sheriff's department, it's honored by the county commission.
I've got information just to the opposite of that.
We'll take this information.
I will contact the sheriff. He owes me a phone call back, but I'll remind him. We'll find out where he's at with it. Dennis, you have anything?
We did offer, the council did offer to go month by month with the police contract,
Right.
as currently stated.
Absolutely.
And that was turned down by the village flatly, but I don't know if that's off the table yet. I don't think it is, I think we need to.
We're gonna continue to negotiate that, I think that was kind of
I don't think there's any question we want to stay with the Almont Park. But we wanna make sure we have some fidelity to the figures.
Yeah, Nancy, say so.
And I don't get that yet.
I don't understand why they'd be opposed to that in the first place.
Yeah, and I think we would be willing to retro pay back if the cost went up, which I think is not. The other question I have here on Scott's settlement, is that an opportunity for the road committee to meet with the county and see how we can lay that, figure out how to cover that $1.1 million, I think Scott's settlement?
Well, we could.
Are there options with the county?
I think the road committee needs to meet, we discuss that in the near future.
Okay.
So that it doesn't get outdated.
I believe it would be fine.
Well, you could do a bond. Some of us have other ideas too, so we'll get together.
Okay.
Anything else from the board? Motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor.